Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony the Technician. Today we're going to be going into the Harbor Freight website and checking out some of the new tools that they've released. If you guys are new to the channel, I like to do these videos every 3 weeks to kind of give time for new items to show up on the list, but not so long. Well, recently I've been slacking. It's probably been a month and a half since I've done one, so it's been a while. We have a few more items to go over than we normally do, but we'll get through them and I'll try and get through them quickly. But let me know your guys' thoughts on some of these down in the comments. So first up, the entire first row is a bunch of Lucas products, which I think they had a couple items before. I could be wrong, but Harbor Freight does carry some name brand auto detailing items as well as chemicals. So you will find Lucas there now, a few different items from them. Now, if the pricing is really any better, no, not really. It's just kind of if you're at Harbor Freight picking something else up and that is something that you need, at least, you got a name brand quality chemical like this there. But no, you're not really getting a better price on it. Then moving down, we have the Seafoam motor treatment. Once again, not a better price or anything like that. Just something that's available there that's name brand. Next up, we have the Bauer half-inch by 50-foot automatic feed drain cleaning drum machine. So this is going to be for, those maybe you're starting your own business. Not quite professional grade, but not something that your average DIYer is going to be picking up just to have on hand. It is $400, so kind of like your semi-professional, maybe getting into it. Maybe this is something that you do quite often, but you haven't really got to the point to where you need to buy a professional grade one. That's kind of where this falls. Then they have the Viking battery charger. This can be a little bit bigger battery charger, not your just small portable one. This is going to be two 1550 and 250 amp for 6 and 12 volt batteries. And then you have the engine starter and alternator tester all built into this. Honestly, it doesn't seem like a bad deal for $200. Some of these machines can get quite expensive. Some of them do get quite advanced, but what you're getting here, it doesn't seem like a bad deal. I know there are mixed reviews on the whole Viking lineup. Some people really enjoy them for the price. Some people have not had good experiences with them. So please let me know your guys' thoughts on any of the Viking lineup as far as what you've had to deal with. Good experiences or bad. Next up, a couple more name brand items. You got some Gum Out carbon choke parts cleaner, and then the Fix-A-Flat aerosol tire inflator. Then a few more items added to the Predator lineup. You got a 4,400 PSI, 4.2 gallon per minute, 13 horsepower commercial duty pressure washer for $900. Then they got the 3,200 PSI, 2.8 gallon per minute, 6.8 horsepower pressure washer at $400. And then a little bit smaller unit here at 2,650 PSI, 2.4 gallon per minute, 5.6 horsepower pressure washer. All of these are gas operated pressure washers for $350. So I think for the extra $50, I think it would be best to step up. Not only you got a higher PSI, but you also got more gallons per minute, 0.4 gallons per minute more. That's where the big difference is. Stepping up to this one, you get up to 4.2 gallons per minute. So I think for $50 more, this one's not a bad deal at all. Obviously, it depends on how much you plan on using a pressure washer and what you're using it for. Then they have a new Bauer 14-inch by 20-inch electronic variable speed wood lathe for $550. Lathes can get quite expensive, but lathes are usually also a precision tool. So I'm sure anybody that uses a lathe on a regular basis is not looking for a cheap one. They're probably looking for something of higher quality. But maybe you're just maybe you're getting into some woodworking and things like that. $550 isn't bad because even wood lathes can get quite expensive. So please let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Some off-roading lights. They've already had pod lights and stuff. I think they're just adding to their lineup. Some changes and stuff have been made. This is Road Shock Edge. Probably a little bit pricier than their other stuff that they had previously, because I run a lot of diode dynamics when it comes to off-road lights and stuff, and that stuff is not cheap. And honestly, this is not cheap for Harbor Freight. It's not expensive, but it's also not cheap. You're kind of getting more towards your mid-tier to higher tier pricing right there. Figure out if this is for a set of two or if this is just a single. Yeah, Baja Designs, obviously another big name brand one. I think I spent, I don't know, 300 something on the pair for mine. 2 lens covers included, black and amber. I think this is just for an individual light. Quantity 1. So honestly, they're not bad. I know a lot of people that actually run, not this one, but some of the other ones that Harbor Freight has had around for a little while now. And they're actually pretty nice little lights, especially if you're trying to save some money. Any light's better than no light, really, but they're pretty impressive for the price. Now, these ones are getting up there in price, but they definitely seem to be a little bit nicer than what they had available before. So if you guys have ran any of the previous lights from Harbor Freight, let me know your guys' thoughts on those or your experiences with them. And do you guys think these new lights that they have available are worth it? And then they've also included a new wiring harness. This is a light duty wiring harness, probably good for 10 amps. Well, it does have the relay. Some of the light duty wiring harnesses won't include a relay, just an inline fuse. But this one does have a built-in relay. It's nice because it's all pre-wired. You got your Deutsch connectors, all of that. 30 amp fuse protection, 40 amp relay. So you can actually run some pretty decent powered lights or multiple lights on this light duty wiring harness. From a lot of other companies, you'll see this called like the mid to high power wiring harness. A lot of the light wiring harnesses, I want to say they're 10 to 15 amps, where you're normally just running, 2 or 3 lights on it. Obviously, that's going to depend on if you're running a 2 LED light or a 5 LED light, a light bar, things like that. It's all going to determine, how many you're running on a wiring harness. But it is nice to see that, just another option out there. I'll definitely have to wait around and see how the reviews are once they've been purchased by a few people. You got a Doyle 15-inch high-performance adjustable wrench for $30. Warrior titanium high-speed drill bit set, 60-piece. I guess this is a little bit larger than what they had available before. It's $20. If you're looking for a cheap drill bit set, I've ran some of the Warrior bits for years, and well, they're definitely not top of the line. It is nice to have a cheaper drill bit set around. Then you got the 14 amp 7 1/4 inch circular saw from Bauer for $50. This is the corded tool. This is not cordless, but for $50, that doesn't seem like too bad of a deal. You got the Hercules one at $100, so half the price here. There's some of the information on it if you would like to pause and take a look. Low profile motorcycle dolly. So you basically just wheel your motorcycle onto this, and it's just got a bunch of little tiny casters on it. Allows you to move your bike around the shop. So wouldn't have any experience with that. I don't ride. Definitely seems like something that could be handy if you are kind of in a cramped area and you constantly need to move your bike around. That could make it easy. For $130, that doesn't seem too bad. Manual feed drain cleaning drum machine for $300. Central Machinery 20-ton each frame. They've had a couple different Central Machinery shop presses like this. This one's at $250. Not bad. Definitely a tool that you need to be careful with. Bauer has released their 6-port sequential charging with dual USB port. Just a charger for their 20-volt tools, batteries, which is always nice to see. $80 really isn't bad. Once again, that's if you're into the Bauer lineup. I'm not one that is going to, see a deal on one brand and buy that tool and find a really good deal on another brand and buy that tool. I don't like having multiple brand tools. Otherwise, I would be testing out the Bauers and Hercules stuff. But I just stick to my Milwaukee and DeWalt stuff, and I try not to get anywhere out of there just because I like to just keep it simple with the chargers and batteries. So if you guys run any of the Bauer cordless tools, please let me know your guys' experiences with them. It is nice to see those 2 USB ports on the side as well. I don't know if it states what it charges it at. 4 amp charger. Okay. Can charge a single battery in as little as 35 minutes. Obviously, that's going to be one of their smaller batteries. And then down here we have the Braun adjustable work light tripod for $20. This is just the tripod, no light included. So it's going to work with a lot of the Braun lights. And if you guys know, Harbor Freight has a ton of work lights and a ton from Braun. Here's just a small list of the ones that it works with. I think we're getting close to where we were. Here's a 300-pound capacity truck bed tailgate ladder for $40. cross slide vise. I know we went over a couple of those in the past. This is just another one added to the lineup. This one from Central Machinery, $90. Pittsburgh pistol grip self-adjusting wire stripper. I feel like they already had that. Maybe it was from a different brand. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like they already had that. Then they have the Quinn 3/4 inch drive impact socket adapter. This is extensions and adapters for 3/4 inch tools. I do not personally use 3/4 inch tools, but when you do get into the 3/4 inch tools, they can get very expensive. So I think for extensions and adapters, well, $60, that's a great price, especially if you go and look for any other 3/4 inch tools. And so I think this is a good set. Once again, I don't personally have experience with the 3/4 inch drive tools. Don't use them. Not necessary for my line of work. But I think it's a good price. And Quinn usually does a pretty dang good job. Now, the further we get down this list, the older the new tools are. You can go back quite a ways to where these tools shouldn't even be on this list anymore. So these tools have been out a little while now. But it's been a little while since I've done one of these videos. So then we have the Doyle 10-inch soft jaw pliers for $22, and then the Icon 8-inch imitation of the Knipex twin grips. Absolutely love my Knipex twin grips. This is all personal preference. I think it's awesome. You can get a pair of pliers like this for $22. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that Icon has no ability whatsoever to come up with their own tools. They just absolutely copy, and then all they've done here is change and put some check marks on here as a design change. Now, I think this is fantastic for $22. Absolutely, especially if you don't want to spend the price for the Knipex. But the Knipex I've found on my Amazon tool deal videos for as low as $28, $26 or $28. Normally sits anywhere between there and $36. I think that's a fantastic price. I'll take the Knipex just because I have great experiences with them. I know Knipex, and I really enjoy them. Weekend warriors, DIYers that can't really justify the prices of Knipex, I think this is a great option for it, especially if you have a Harbor Freight close by. If you ever need to warranty it, it's a great option. It's just annoying seeing that Icon can't come up with their own stuff. I get it. All manufacturers since the beginning of time have always evolved off of one another, and obviously slip joint pliers look like slip joint pliers. But when you get something that's been custom made, or a new tool that's come out, and to just see a company that only copies others, it's just kind of annoying. But that's just how I feel about it. I still believe this is a great tool for the price. Sorry, I didn't even mention what these are. If you don't know, they are a slip joint style plier, but you have a push lock button for 5 different positions. So very nice, very, very nice. And then you have dual facing teeth up here in the open jaw. You have vertical teeth as well for screw extraction. And even though these have the ability of screw extraction, you can still use these as standard pliers, just like normal, slip joint pliers. And the dual facing teeth have a great bite. I absolutely love my Knipex. Nothing I could say bad about them. And I think obviously Icon's done a good job on these. It's kind of hard to mess up when you just copy. So these are, I believe, from what I remember, a little bit wider than the Knipex, a little bit more material there. Other than that, you're looking at basically the same tool, just the metal material not being as high of quality. Then you have the Bauer 9 amp 1/2 inch corded drill for $50. Then you have the 20 volt brushless cordless 16 gauge nibbler. They've been adding a few nibblers recently over the last few months. So these tools can be extremely handy when working with like sheet metal and stuff like that. I used to use nibblers all the time, and sometimes using tin snips and stuff can get real old, and this can make quick, easy work. Sometimes it's a learning curve if you've never used one before, but it's a very simple tool and can save a lot of time. Just depending on how much you kind of work with like sheet metal and stuff will determine if this is a good tool for you. $120 for the tool only. It is getting up there, but I honestly haven't seen a whole lot of cordless nibblers. But I will admit I don't actively look for cordless nibblers, so I'm not exactly sure what the pricing is for a good quality one. I always used a pneumatic air nibbler, so I can't say, if this is a fantastic price. It does state here that the Makita version is at $370, which is quite expensive. But please let me know your guys' thoughts down below. Once again, this is just the tool. If you don't already run the Hercules lineup, you would have to purchase a battery and charger as well. But I believe that's where we left off. I believe I remember going over the paint gun and the Icon diagnostic smoke machine, as well as trim kits for the new toolboxes. So that's it as far as items that are new at Harbor Freight. I will try to do better about doing these every 3 weeks so we don't fall too far behind. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please make sure to smash that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below of your guys' thoughts on some of these, or if you have experience with some of these tools or the brands themselves. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.